What happens when a Hollywood legend, whose films have inspired generations, faces off against a host who doesn't shy away from cutting truths? This moment on The View became one of those unforgettable events etched into viewers' memories. Sylvester Stallone, the star of Rocky and Rambo, came to the show to promote his new film. But no one was prepared for what happened next. The studio froze, the audience held their breath, and producers scrambled in panic backstage. This wasn't just a disagreement, it was a battle of principles, dignity, and respect. A sunny morning in New York. The View studio buzzes with anticipation. The live audience, mostly women, chatters excitedly, holding signs that read, "We love Sly," and "Rocky Forever." Cameras are set, operators check angles, and sound engineers test microphones. On stage is the familiar round table, where the hosts sit: Whoopi Goldberg, Sarah Haynes, Sunny Hostin, and Joy Behar. The atmosphere is light, filled with jokes and the thrill of an upcoming celebrity guest. The backstage door swings open, and Sylvester Stallone steps onto the stage. His entrance sparks a wave of applause. At 79, he looks striking. A gray suit fits perfectly on his still muscular frame, and his signature crooked smile adds charm. He waves to the audience, takes a seat at the table, and exchanges friendly greetings with the hosts. Whoopi, leading this segment, takes the floor. "Sly, welcome to The View. You look like you just stepped out of the ring," she says with a wide grin, adjusting her glasses. "How do you stay in such great shape?" Stallone chuckles, leaning back in his chair. "You know, Whoopi, it's all about discipline. And maybe a few protein shakes," he replies, prompting laughter from the audience. The conversation starts off smoothly. Stallone talks about his new film, a drama about a war veteran struggling to find meaning in civilian life. He speaks with passion, recounting how he trained young actors and even wrote parts of the script. The audience listens, captivated, while Sarah Haynes asks a few soft questions about his directing experience. But tension lingers in the air. Whoopi Goldberg, known for her bluntness, hasn't yet shown her hand. The discussion shifts to Stallone's Hollywood legacy. Sunny Hostin, smiling, asks, "Sly, you've created iconic characters like Rocky and Rambo. How does it feel knowing these heroes inspire people worldwide?" Stallone nods, his eyes warm. "It's a great honor. Rocky isn't just about boxing. It's about getting back up after you fall, fighting for your dream. I get letters from people saying the movie changed their lives. That's what I work for." The audience claps, but Whoopi interrupts, raising her hand. Her tone shifts, sharper, almost challenging. "Sly, that all sounds very touching, but let's be real. Your movies are mostly action, lots of violence, testosterone. Don't you think in today's world those stories are a bit outdated? I mean, we're in an era where people want more depth, more social commentary." The studio falls silent. The camera catches Stallone tensing slightly, though his smile holds. "Whoopi, I respect your opinion, but my films aren't just about fights. They're about the human spirit, about overcoming struggles. Rocky fights not just in the ring but with life. That's a universal story." Whoopi smirks, leaning back in her chair. Her eyes glint, as if sensing a weak spot. "Universal, you say? But let's talk about you. You've played these tough guys for years, but in real life you dodge serious issues. For example, you've never spoken out on political or social matters. Why? Afraid to ruin your hero image?" The audience goes quiet. Sarah Haynes coughs awkwardly, and Sunny Hostin exchanges a quick glance with Joy Behar. Stallone clenches his fists under the table, but his voice stays calm. "I don't dodge. I just believe my job is to tell stories that bring people together, not divide them. Politics isn't my battlefield." Whoopi doesn't back down. She leans forward, her voice taking on a sarcastic edge. "Oh, Sly, that's so convenient. You make movies about war, about heroes, but when it comes to the real world, you're silent. Doesn't that feel a bit hypocritical? People want to know what you stand for, not just see you throw punches on screen." The silence in the studio is almost palpable. The camera zooms in on Stallone's face, his jaw tight, eyes narrowed. The audience whispers, some pulling out phones to record. Sarah Haynes tries to intervene. Whoopi, let's get back to the movie. It's such an interesting topic. But Whoopi waves her off, eyes locked on Stallone. No, Sarah, I want an answer. Sly, you're not afraid of challenges, right? So why do you avoid real conversations? Are you just an actor playing a hero, not living by those principles? Stallone rises slowly. His movements are deliberate, but there's power in them. The studio freezes. Even Whoopi falls silent for a moment. He adjusts his jacket, looks straight into Goldberg's eyes, and speaks, his voice trembling with restrained emotion. Whoopi, I respected you as a professional, but you just crossed a line. You want to know what I stand for? I stand for people who fight every day. For those who don't have a voice but have heart. And I won't let you or anyone else belittle that. The audience erupts in applause, though some sit in stunned silence. Whoopi opens her mouth to respond, but Stallone raises a hand, stopping her. He turns to the audience, his gaze burning. I came here to talk about a film, a story that can inspire. But if you, Whoopi, think you can judge my life, my principles, you're wrong. He pauses, and in that moment, a producer's whisper crackles through an earpiece. What's he doing? Stop this! The camera shakes as the operator struggles to hold the shot. Stallone turns back to Whoopi, his voice quieter but firmer. I'm not a hypocrite. I'm just a man trying to do some good. And I won't stand here justifying myself to you. He drops the microphone on the table. The clatter echoes through the studio like a gunshot. The audience gasps, someone shouts. Sly, you're right! Whoopi sits stunned, her face frozen in a mix of anger and surprise. Sarah Haynes clutches her head, Sonny Hostin whispers. Oh God! Joy Behar, silent until now, mutters. Well, that was unexpected. Stallone turns and heads for the exit. His steps are heavy but confident. The backstage door slams, plunging the studio into chaos. The audience buzzes, producers scramble, shouting, Cut the cameras! But the cameras keep rolling, capturing every glance, every whisper. The View studio descends into chaos. Sylvester Stallone, having dropped the microphone, strides toward the exit, his steps reverberating in the stunned silence. The audience is split, some applaud, shouting, Sly, you're right! While others sit in shocked silence, phones recording every second. Whoopi Goldberg, usually unflappable, looks dazed, her hands gripping the table's edge, her eyes flashing with a mix of anger and surprise. Sarah Haynes whispers, This is a disaster, while Sonny Hostin glances helplessly at the producers frantically signaling backstage. Joy Behar, trying to lighten the mood, quips, Well, at least it's not a boring show. But her words drown in the crowd's murmurs. Suddenly, Whoopi snaps back to life. She stands, her voice slicing through the air. Sly, you can't just walk out. This is my show, and I'm not done. The cameras whip around, catching Stallone pausing at the door. His back is tense, but he turns slowly. The studio falls deathly silent. Only the hum of cameras and someone's shaky breath can be heard. Stallone locks eyes with Whoopi, his gaze burning with not just anger but a deep, almost tangible pain. You want a show, Whoopi? He says, his voice low and steady but trembling with emotion. You want me to bare my soul in front of millions so you can tear me apart? Fine, I'll give you the truth. He steps back toward the stage, and the audience holds its breath. A producer backstage hisses into an earpiece. Don't stop the cameras, this is gold. Stallone stops center stage, his eyes sweeping the audience as if addressing each person. I'm no hero like Rocky or Rambo. I'm just a man. I've fought failures, criticism, moments when I didn't believe in myself. I've lost friends, made mistakes, fallen. But every time, I got back up. Not for fame or money, but because I believe everyone deserves a chance to fight for their place in the world. His voice cracks, and a tear glints in his eye, which he quickly wipes away. He turns to Whoopi, his words sharpening. You accuse me of silence? I don't shout about politics because I don't want to divide people. My films are my voice. They speak for those who struggle in silence. And if you think that's hypocrisy, then you don't understand what it means to be human. The audience explodes in applause. Someone in the back shouts, "Sly, we're with you." Whoopi opens her mouth to retort, but Stallone raises a hand, silencing her. "I'm done, Whoopi. I came here with respect, but you turned this into a circus. And you know what? I'm not playing along." He turns and walks out for good this time. The backstage door slams, leaving the studio in deafening silence. Whoopi slowly sits, her face a mask of restrained fury. She adjusts her glasses, trying to regain control. "Well, that was unexpected," she says, but her voice sounds weak. The audience buzzes, people whispering and sharing reactions. The camera zooms in on Sarah Haynes, who looks like she wants to disappear, and Sunny Hostin, shaking her head. Joy Behar, trying to salvage things, says, "Maybe we move to the next segment?" But it feels out of place. Backstage, producers are in a frenzy. One yells into a walkie-talkie, "It's already online. Twitter's blowing up." Sure enough, the moment Stallone drops the mic and delivers his speech is spreading across social media. Hashtag Sly vs. Whoopi and hashtag StandUpSly trend globally. Clips of his words about struggle and humanity rack up millions of views in minutes. In the studio, operators keep filming, capturing every glance and whisper. The audience is divided. Some are outraged by Whoopi's behavior. Others believe she had a right to ask tough questions. Someone in the crowd shouts, "Whoopi, apologize!" But she ignores it, flipping through her notes. The show cuts to a commercial break, but the tension lingers. The next day, the clash between Sylvester Stallone and Whoopi Goldberg dominates headlines. Media splits into camps. Some call Stallone a true hero for standing up for his dignity. Others criticize him for running from tough questions. Social media erupts with debates. Stallone's fans post Rocky clips, comparing his speech to the film's iconic moments. Meanwhile, Whoopi's supporters defend her journalistic right to provoke. Stallone posts a brief Instagram message. "Life is a fight. Not always in the ring, but always in the heart. Thank you to everyone who supports." The post garners millions of likes, and his new film sees a surge in interest. Whoopi, for her part, stays quiet but on the next The View episode says curtly, "I do my job. Sometimes it hurts, but the truth is worth it." Her words spark another wave of controversy. This moment wasn't just a TV sensation, it sparked reflection. Should Stallone have stayed silent to avoid conflict? Did Whoopi cross a line by using her platform for personal attacks? And most importantly, what does it mean to be authentic in a world craving spectacle? Dear viewers, what do you think of this conflict? Who was right, Stallone, standing for his principles, or Whoopi, demanding answers? Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to catch more stories that reshape television. This story underscores the value of dignity and respect, even in the fiercest conflicts. Stallone, despite pressure, stayed true to himself, showing that real strength lies not in loud words but in defending principles without humiliating others. Meanwhile, Whoopi's actions highlight the danger of using a platform for personal attacks rather than constructive dialogue. The lesson is universal. In a world chasing attention, respecting another's humanity remains the highest form of strength.